It's going to be interesting to see what resistance.
Well, the people who are squealing are the ones you want to pay attention to.
Right. Well, that's the thing is that, first of all, we were talking about this the other day. Me and my friends are saying part of the problem is these people can't conspire right now because all their phones are tapped. Everybody that, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if they're investigating you, if they're investigating these things, like the power that they have
is astronomical.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The power that they have to look into people's emails, look into people's phones, find out what text messages they're sending. They can look into your signal. All that's
Pegasus, baby.
Yeah, they look into everything. Yeah. So the idea that they're not doing that, if they're in the middle of some fucking multi-trillion-dollar investigation into rampant fraud, so they know that this is going on. So they can't conspire. And then they also have to worry about people taking deals. So there's going to be some people that squeal.
Good point.
And so then you don't know who's your fucking enemy and who's your friend. And everywhere you talk, you go to have a lunch with someone, he's wearing a fucking button camera. You could be fucked. And so they're not united right now.
Yeah.
And this is why it's working. And this is why they're able to release all this information. And everybody's in this hot panic right now.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is right. The deep state is imploding in real time. The intelligence machine they built to control power is now turning against them. The same surveillance technology the government used to hunt terrorists and track enemies is now being used against the very people who built the system. Nobody trusts each other. Their phones are tapped, their encrypted messages are being read, their emails and conversations are under surveillance, and now they don't know who's flipped. When paranoia takes over, people inside the system start turning on each other. They start cutting deals, they start wearing wires, and they betray their very own. And that's the way it goes. And at the center of this chaos, Elon Musk and DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, Musk's team has been digging into $1 trillion fraud operation with your tax money inside the U.S. government. And the deep state knows that once the truth gets out, heads will roll. And on this episode, I'm going to break down how Musk's DOGE is forcing the deep state left into panic mode, how surveillance paranoia is causing the intelligence world to collapse, and what history tells us about how intelligence agencies fall apart from the inside. This episode isn't just about Musk. It's not just about surveillance. It's about how power collapses when people running the machine start to fear their own creation. Let's start with the basics. The U.S. intelligence system has the ability to monitor phone calls, emails, text messages, encrypted apps like Signal and Telegram. They've got incredible capabilities and even burner phones. And the idea that top officials inside the far left's deep state aren't being watched, in my opinion, is laughable. If you're anywhere near $1 trillion fraud investigation, you can bet that every one of your communications is under a microscope. Here's the problem. The intelligence agencies don't trust each other anymore. The FBI doesn't trust the CIA doesn't trust the NSA, politicians don't trust their own advisors. And when that paranoia kicks in, people start flipping. And when you come from the intelligence and counterterrorism world like I do, you know exactly how to create that paranoia. That's how we flip assets and kill terrorists. This is what always happens before an intelligence collapse. I've seen this firsthand with terrorism. And in trained Israeli counterterrorism and intelligence operations, I can tell you, when people don't know who's flipped, their entire enemy network starts to break down, and we use that paranoia and we weaponize it. And when people start cutting deals, their system starts to implode. And when people start wearing wires, it's over. And that's where we are right now. And the trigger? Elon Musk. This episode of the Aaron Cohen Show is brought to you by Merkava Coffee. This is the official coffee of the Aaron Cohen Show. When I served in the IDF, coffee wasn't just coffee, it was fuel. And in the special operations world, there were nights with no sleep, missions that stretched for days, and no room for mistakes. Coffee was serious, and it kept us sharp, locked in, and ready to move. And let me tell you something, I still take it seriously. And that's why Merkava coffee, strong, no nonsense, battle tested, no fluff, no gimmicks, just good, bold coffee for the people who need to be at their best. And if you start your day like I do, like it's a mission, you know why this matters. Hit the link down in the description and grab yourself a triple order and help keep the lights on and support the Aaron Cohen Show. Appreciate you guys. Musk isn't just running X. He's not just sending rockets into space. He's not just making electric cars. He's now got his hands, because of Trump, inside the U.S. government to figure out where all of the wasteful spending is going. And DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, is digging into trillions of dollars in federal spending as we speak. And guess what they're finding? We've all started to hear about this now. Massive fraud, billions in missing money, agencies stealing it from taxpayers and covering it up under all these garbage woke initiatives. And the left's deep state biggest fear isn't that Musk is a billionaire. It's that he's an outsider in their mind with access. So they've gone into denial mode and they've gone into reverse engineering media to make him look like the villain. And the people who've been running this $1 trillion scam aren't just nervous. They're panicking because they know that once the truth gets out, they're finished. I want to talk a little bit more about the Israeli playbook and how U.S. intelligence is failing. Let me give you a real example of how Israeli intelligence prevents what's happening right now in the United States. In the 1990s, Israel's Shin Bet, or Shabak, or the Shirut HaKlilei HaBitachon, their elite domestic intelligence unit, was infiltrated by a double agent working for Hamas. And instead of waiting for the system to self-destruct, they ran internal surveillance on their own people and identified the mole and then flipped him back into an asset. And that's how you prevent the collapse. You control the inside. And today, the IDF's intelligence units run constant counter surveillance on their own officers. Every Mossad and Shin Bet officer trained to detect signs of disloyalty within their own ranks. And that's the difference between how Israel runs intelligence and how the U.S. lets paranoia take over because of this theft. The deep state was never built for longevity. This left-wing created chaos machine designed for this 2030 long view of the world. And it was built for control. And when control breaks down, the whole thing starts to fall apart. And so what comes next? Well, history tells us exactly what happens next when an intelligence system eats itself alive. The first person to flip will come from the FBI, in my opinion. The FBI is in a terrible storm right now of dirty agents that they're trying to clean up, that Trump's trying to clean up. The second domino will be in the intelligence community. And this won't happen in 5 years. This could happen in the next 6 to 12 months. And when it does, you're going to see the cracks turn into total collapse. So the only question left is who's going to go down first? And I think Joe Rogan said it best. The deep state can't conspire anymore because they're too busy covering their own asses. The very machine that they built to control power is now turning against them. And that's how dirty empires fall. I'm going to come back to this as DOGE continues its investigation and more of this theft of trillions continues to surface. Just remember, if you want the truth, hit subscribe, drop me a comment down below, and stay ahead of the lies. Do you agree with what Trump's doing? And are you falling for that misinformation on the left that they're spinning? I want to thank you guys for watching this episode. And do me a favor, if you're a fan of the show, join my Season 1 sponsorship team. Hit the link down in the description and grab yourself a mini sponsorship package. They start at $25. Helps keep the lights on in the studio. We're completely independently produced. And join my mission to continue combating that garbage anti-Israel and anti-Trump disinformation that's out there floating around. Hit the link down in the description. Join my Season 1 team. Appreciate you guys. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching The Aaron Cohen Show, and I'll catch you soon on the next one.